Hello you guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be comparing fractions. So we've done a lot so far with fractions. Today we're going to use some things we've been learning and we're going to be comparing fractions. So we're going to be using three symbols you guys are very familiar with. We're going to either use a less than sign, which remember the less than part comes first, greater than, where the greater than sign is going this way, the greater than part is first, or equal. So we're going to decide if what symbol goes between our fractions today. All right, so we just learned about least common multiple, okay, or LCM. So we are really going to use that today. So that was really great that we just did that lesson. But instead of finding the least common multiple, we're going to change the M to a D, and the D stands for denominator. So you're still going to find the least common multiple, but you're actually going to put it into a fraction today. So, which will be on the denominator, which is the bottom. Okay, so let's do some practice problems. All right, so we're going to compare fractions by using the LCM. We're going to use the symbol less than, greater than, or equal. So we're going to decide what we think goes here in the middle of these two fractions. The only problem that I can see right off the bat are these denominators are actually different. It's really hard to just see it for some of them. You know, which one's less than or which one's greater than. It's way easier when the denominator is the same for us to be able to compare it and really see it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make the denominator the same. All right, so what we're going to do is take our denominators and we are going to find the LCM just like we've been doing. So let's start with 7. We are going to skip count just like we did before, or whatever method helps you. All right, so I'm going to do 7, 14, and keep going. Listing out all the factors just for a while here. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I might have to keep going, but we'll stop there for now. Now we're going to do 6s. And skip count by 6s. Okay, so now that we've listed some of the multiples, we are going to look and see if any of them match up or if any of them are in common. All right, so we're just going to look down and see. All right, I see 42s are the same. And I'm looking out and I don't see any other ones that match. These are the only two. If we kept going, we'd probably find more, but we're just looking for the lowest, so we're gonna stop there. All right, so now that we know 42 is the least common multiple, we are gonna change these fractions to have 42 on the bottom. And then they'll both be in 42nds, and it should be way easier to see. All right, so we're gonna take each fraction and write them down here at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to change it to 42. So I'm going to write 42 next to it. All right, and usually to change the denominator, you'll either multiply or divide, but it went up, so we're going to multiply. Okay, it went up right there too. All right, so we're going to decide to make 7 a 42. How many times do you times 7? So let's see, 7 times 6 would be 42. So we're going to put a 6 there. And whatever you do to the bottom, you need to do to the top too. Because if you look right here, 6 over 6 is 1, right? So it's just like we multiplied by 1, like you guys learned in one of our other lessons. Okay, so 6 times 6 is 36. Here is our brand new fraction. It looks a lot more complicated, but it's actually going to be better because they'll both have a 42 on the bottom. All right, so I'm going to change this to our new fraction. Okay, now let's go to our next one. We're going to want to change that to 42 also. All right, so this is going up and we decide, okay, what do we times 6 by to get 42? And you can actually times it by 7 to get 42. All right, so now we're going to decide, okay, what do we multiply this by? Well, the same thing you did on the bottom. Okay, it's always the same thing. 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, so there's our new fraction. So I'm just going to cross that off and write 35 over 42. Okay, so there's our new fraction. Now the denominators are the same, so we're working with the same thing. So now it's easier to see which one's greater or less than. So right now if we look, these are the same, but the top's different. This is greater than that. So that's the symbol we will put in. So it's a lot of steps, but it's just easier to be able to compare them once you do that. Another method you could use is pictures. The pictures are kind of hard to do though, so I would recommend that first way, but this might be good for smaller fractions like this. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to compare them by using models or pictures. You can use the symbol still that we've been using, less than, greater than, or equals. Okay, so we're comparing 3/4 and 5/8. So what we're going to do is shade in 3/4 on this side. On this side, we're going to shade in 5/8. Okay, now we can see in a picture which one is greater than the other. And this one is greater than that one because this is just a little bit less. So we are going to put the greater than sign in again. Oh, and if we use these little fraction blocks, we can also see 3/4 is greater than 5/8. Okay, so we also double checked. Now let's do one more problem using that first method because that's probably the method you'll use most often. Okay, so we are going to compare the fractions using the LCM. We're going to use the symbols less than, greater than, or equal. Okay, here's our next two fractions we're going to compare. 4/5 and 7/8. Okay, so off the bat, it's kind of hard to see which one's greater than the other. So we're going to make the denominator the same. All right, so we're writing our denominators down here, and we're going to find the LCM. So I'm going to skip count again, or you could use another method if that helps you. So whatever method you like the best. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to keep going with the bottom row now, which is 8. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and now we're going to see if any of them match up. So I'm just going to kind of look across, and I can see 40s match up. Okay, so I'm going to circle those. So our LCM is 40, or our new LCD will be 40. Okay, so now we're going to write each fraction down below so we can change it into 40ths. Okay, so we're going to write 40 because we're changing it into our LCM, or our lowest common denominator too. Okay, so this one up, so we're going to multiply. Okay, so now we're going to decide what am I going to multiply the 5 by to get 40. And if you times 5 by 8, you get 40. So we're going to do the same thing to the top. 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, so we're done with the first one. And we're going to write it right up here. That's our new fraction now. Okay, let's go to this other one. So what do we multiply 8 by to get 40? And you can just think about your math facts. And 8 times 5 is 40. So we'll do the same thing to the top and get 35. Okay, so just make sure they're both the same. Remember, it's like we're multiplying by 1. So we didn't change it at all. We're just kind of making the denominators the same. So I guess we're just changing it into a new denominator, but it's still the same value. Okay, there's our new fractions. Now we can easily see which one is greater or less than. So these are the same, remember? So that's good. So we just look at the top, and 35 is greater than 32. So we're going to put a less than sign in the middle. Okay, so the big steps are find the LCM, change the fractions into your new LCD that you just found, or LCM, lots of abbreviations. And then you're going to write them up here, and you can put in the symbol after that, okay? Sometimes pictures are helpful, but they're a little bit harder because you might have to do a lot with some certain fractions. So, okay, good luck.